Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel Karibu Fine Art, and I'm Priya, the artist behind karibufineart.com. Today we are going to see how to paint this leopard in acrylic paints. So the same brand we are going to use, which I always recommend using for any beginners or professional artists, which is Liquitex Basic Acrylic Paints. They work really well on any kind of surface like rough surface or super smooth surface. And along with these basics paints, I'm using Liquitex Basics paints. I'm using Liquitex Professional Heavy Body Acrylic paints. So one is transparent mixing white, which I'll be using for glazes wherever the light is reflecting. So this is a really good paint, and you can mix this one with a lot of other basics paints as well to make a lighter shade of paints or thin it down a little bit. And this one is just heavy body titanium white paint, which is also very useful for really opaque white portions if you want it anywhere. The board we are using is just, the surface we are using is just a wooden painting board, which is super smooth, and it's just wooden board, and it has been gessoed, primed with gesso. So you should be able to find it anywhere online. I have got it from Eckersley art store in Melbourne City. Let me know if you don't find it online. I'll help you find it out in US or in Australia. Whatever materials I have used, I have put the links for all of those materials in the description below, so you can go and check it out. The reference photo I have used for the tiger is for the leopard is from wildlifereferencephotos.com. I'll put the link to that website as well in the description below. They have got really good collection of wildlife photos. Today we are only going to cover this much of portion, and in the future videos we are going to cover the entire painting in one of the tutorials. Also in future videos we'll see a painting for how to paint or get this kind of stenciled effect without having airbrush kit or anything. Another video we'll see in future is my top 10 acrylic painting supply. And one more video I have in mind is I have an exhibition coming soon, like next Thursday, and I'm going to put a checklist, and I'm going to put a video out there in future to prepare all the beginner artists for setting up the exhibition, because this is my first ever exhibition. So I'll put a video together for like how to be prepared for your first ever exhibition. That will be an interesting video, I think. So guys, just put your comments below, give me your feedback, and like my video if you have enjoyed watching it, and if you have learned something out of it. And you can always subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Let's get back to the tutorial now. Starting with blocking down the area with a mix of white and yellow ochre paint. I have blocked the whole portion of the leopard face, and now I have just traced the sections where I can define the eyes portion and the nose and the mouth portion properly. So only those portions I have traced it down and transferred the image only for those areas. Once I have defined those sections with a very fine brush and a mass black paint, now I'm going over the portions where I know that the darks and lights of the leopard face will go. So I'm using different shades of yellow ochre, raw sienna, burnt sienna, and burnt umber to block down the darkest and the lightest and all the mid tones, and have this whole layer as a background layer, and then I can build on top of this with many more details. After blocking down all of these areas, I have again used my transfer paper and the image, tracing paper and the transfer paper, and I have transferred the entire remaining image on these layers. Once I have blocked down those portions, I have used mask black paint and my favorite Taklon filbert brush to put down all of the black spots on leopard's face. I have made sure my direction of the fur is completely bang on, and also the length of the fur for all of these spots is appropriate. So this is like the most important tip which my mentor Lisa behind the Lacquery Fine Art channel she has got on YouTube. So she always advises on paying very close attention to the reference picture to note down all of the direction of the fur and the location of the fur, especially the spots on leopard's face, and then the length of the fur. The eye portion I am covering right now is very important, and any animal eye when you paint, you have to make sure that the soul of that animal reflects in it, and because the eye portion brings life to the painting, and it is, for me, it is one of the most important areas, and you have to be very careful, and you have to go back to your reference photo and build up the layers. The colors, the exact colors actually don't matter at all. You can use any colors, but the layering process and glazing and making sure you're sticking to your reference picture matters a lot. So for this portion, I have speeded it up a little bit because in the last week's tutorial, we covered this portion pretty well. So we don't have to go over those areas again. And you can always refer back to my last week's tutorial on how to paint a leopard eye to make sure that you can understand how exactly I have done all the layering for the eyes portion. Now I'm just going back to the areas where there are some lighter fur portions with a mix of yellow ochre and little bit red and a white paint. So for all of this painting, I'm just purely using my Liquitex Basic Acrylic paints, and the brushes majorly I'll be using is couple of filbert brushes with different sizes, and for the areas where I need smaller strokes, shorter strokes, and little bit in between tiny details, I'm using a smaller filbert brush. And then for really fine detailing, I'm using my 4x0 Winsor&Newton and then 3x0 Princeton brushes. My most favorite brushes are these Taklon filbert and Taklon flat brushes for painting any fur animal, especially leopards or the panda tutorial I have done. I really think that these two are must to have brushes. Now I'm just going over most of the shadowed areas and making sure my darks are pretty well defined. And when I'm happy with the overall values I have put, darks and lights, then I'm going over again on those black spots on the leopard's face to make sure that the contrast works really well all together in the painting. And so my top 5 tips would be to do any acrylic painting of an animal is, first tip will be making sure your drawing is absolutely bang on. So you can use any drawing technique to do that, to make sure you stick to your correct drawing. The second tip I have is the eye area. So the eyes need to be really nicely layered. So you have to take your time and make sure you're sticking to reference picture and do as many layers as you can to have that 3D effect. The third important tip I can give is regarding the nose. The area through which we are going right now, I'm making sure I have switched to this tiny 4x0 Winsor&Newton brush because detailing in the nose area is very tiny details I have to put there, so I had to switch to the correct brush. You have to make sure you switch back and forth to the correct brush and you don't get lazy and carried away with the time. So this is my third tip. My fourth really important tip is making sure your direction of the fur is really accurate, and the length of the fur is really accurate. Actually, this fourth tip I have got is from my the artist whom I really religiously follow, Lisa. So she always makes, like, she always pushes all her followers and artists uh, to make sure you go back to your reference picture to see the length of the fur marks and the direction of the fur, and not draw individual strands of fur. You can draw individual strands of fur to just give finishing to your painting, but you don't have to start with it. So you can always start with putting or painting the chunks of fur together so as to have that realistic look. So now I'm going to those areas to where I think it's needed to put those individual strands of hair with a white paint and my liner brush, really thin liner brush. I'm getting really bold at putting these layers because I'm going to go over all of these areas, and I'm going to glaze them with darker colors so I can tone these very light shades down a little bit. So the fifth and another really important tip I have for painting any animal painting, or actually painting anything at all, is making sure each and every portion of your painting you have paid equal attention to. So you can't just go over the ear section or the mouth section or the neck section really fast and not pay attention to those areas. So you have to make sure you are paying equal attention to all of the areas of your painting, because it's equally important to do that. So these were my 5 tips for today. Guys, please give me your comments and feedback in below. And I'm going to put all the details of the materials I have used in the description below. The reference photo I have used for today is I have purchased it from wildlifereferencephoto.com. Even the details to that I'll put in the description below. In future, we are going to see many more such interesting videos, especially because my exhibition is coming up soon. So I'm going to put a video for you guys for on how to prepare for an art exhibition, or how to prepare for your first art exhibition. So guys, if you don't want to miss out on any of my videos and all these tiny tips and techniques, please subscribe to my channel. It's just out there on the lower right corner. So please do subscribe. It's absolutely for free. Please like my videos and share it with all your friends. And I'll see you all next Thursday again. Bye bye.